Good evening and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, and I am the Dream Decipherer, and I help you to crack the code of your sleep and dreams so you can sleep sound and dream deep. This evening, I have one short dream, but a short dream with a lot of imagery and hopefully information for the dreamer packed in it. So, to get started, the dreamer reports that the dreamer was in possession of a time travel device and used it to go back into the past to complete a mission. What mission is unstated. But once they had arrived in the past, the dreamer got knocked down by a bus and so had to actually do the whole process all over again for a second time in order to be able to complete this mission. And that's the end of the dream. So what on earth could that mean? You time travel and then you to fix something and then get knocked down by a bus so you couldn't accomplish your task and had to do it again. The phrases that came to mind with like the movie Back to the Future, um, the movie You Only Live Twice, and that old saying, if you at first you don't succeed, try again. So there's something about um, keeping a perseverance, I guess. Here you're talking about something that needed to be sorted out, and no matter what, even if it was in the past, they were going to sort it out. um, but what was it in the past that was so important that it needed to be returned to and completed by the use of this time travel machine? What needed to be fixed in the past, and how is that going to impact the present and even the future? But we'll leave that for a moment and focus on the for a moment on this bus. Now, the dreamer reports getting knocked down by a bus before he could accomplish his task to complete this particular mission, which is unnamed. No, there's no indication of what this mission or task was. But if you look at the bus in and of itself, again, means of transportation usually represent in some way our journey through life. Sometimes it's fast, like in a plane or in a car. Sometimes it's slower, we're on foot or riding a bus. In this case, the bus could perhaps stand for something in the dreamer's life that is more pedestrian, more public. It's a more common means of transport, though the people are hardly using it these days with lockdown. But it represents, in this, perhaps in this sense, for the dreamer, the common experience, going along with the crowd, doing what everybody else is doing. So perhaps it's a reference to group thinking in some way, and that group think mindset is what has knocked him down, so to speak, um, while he was trying to perform this particular task. So the bus not only physically constrains him from being able to complete his task, but on a psychological level, if you look at that bus as representing maybe other people's opinions or the common wisdom or conventional wisdom, maybe that is what's knocking the dreamer down, so to speak, when it comes to accomplishing this particular task. So if we move on from that and look at time travel, and it's interesting because what came to me with this was that the dreamer was somehow skipping over or skipping through time, and maybe skipping over or skimming past certain events as well, and just kind of jumping from point A to point B without traversing the distance in between. Um, now I would question the dreamer here and say, well, what is this wish of wanting to go back in time to change something or to do something? What um, if you did have this time machine? What would you change and why? Number one. And what do you expect to result from this change going forward? And I wonder again if this might be a subtle reference to current circumstances where people can't go where they like, can't do what they want, and harking back to the good old days when people could get out and about in normal fashion. So perhaps this is an oblique reference to the pandemic. There's also the question of going back into the past. Was the past, for whatever reason, more agreeable? Or was this simply to correct something that happened in the past? Um, that implies that could there be some regrets around events in the past in the dreamer's life, perhaps somewhere? And what exactly needs to be put right? Whether that is in the dream or in the dreamer's waking life, is there some area where the dreamer feels that something needs to be corrected, something that happened in the past that needs to be fixed now? Now, what what links these different images or little vignettes within the dream? There's a It seems to be to me that things are working here in twos, you might say. The You have the original um, the original event that took place in the past, or the original task that took place in the past, and then you have a attempt to return to that past to be able to rectify or correct or enhance or whatever it is that past task or mission. Then there were two. Then again, there were two attempts to do this. The first attempt, which got thwarted by a itinerant bus, and then supposedly the second time, the dreamer was able to put right whatever had not been right before. So there seems to be a duality here. I mean, the individual um, traveling back in time, but yet a common opinion or public opinion or a public kind of entity in some form or fashion actually prevents that from happening until the second attempt is made. And it makes me wonder whether in the dreamer's life there is some kind of duality or conflict, two opposing sides that perhaps are putting the dreamer in a difficult situation, in that the dreamer may have their own ideas, thoughts, notions, feelings, but the bus, which perhaps represents kind of public opinion or the common man's thought, so to speak, it prevents that from happening. And perhaps that's something for the dreamer to have a look at. So there you have it: time travel and buses, or getting knocked down by buses, and things in twos, representing the basic duality of human existence. It's either up, down, yes, no, left, right. But there are many dimensions to us, which our dreams show that we live at many different levels. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great evening and rest of the week. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.